How you doing, Doc?
Hey,
Doing?
I'm doing good. How
All
you
right, so we know
doing?
we don't like to keep you guys on for too long. We are here. We're ready to rock and roll. Number one. Okay. Well, first things first. Let's preface this by, now you know Doc and I, we want you to be able to do the things that you want to do, right? So we spit a lot at you talking about, okay, well, you need to start out slow, make sure that you build a solid foundation, don't do too much too soon, right? Well, what's going to happen in the new year, Doc?
Yep. Everyone is about to jump into whatever gym, workout challenge is going to be popping up, and you're going to be like, yeah, I'm doing this. And then what's going to stop you most of the time, people start in January, and then we start trickling off
and we want
February
to help
and
prevent
March.
that, right? Like, and I don't want to take that from you, right? Like, absolutely, it's time to go, right? It's been a rough couple of years. We're pretty much done, although it seems like everybody's sick right now. COVID is pretty much done. We're feeling good. We're ready to hit the ground running. I don't want to take that from you, right? And so we can preach all the time about, you know, doing too much too soon and take it easy or whatever. But if you want to hit the ground running, we're going to let you do that. And we want to do everything that we can to make sure that it's not just leading to burnout or leading to injury, right? So buckle up, pay attention. If you have any questions, please, please, please drop them in the comments or reach out after the live, because we are here as a free resource, but we cannot help if we don't know what's wrong. Okay? All right, number one.
We don't know.
What we wanted to talk about, recovery tools. What do you have at your disposal to help you feel better in the moment?
Most people, so I have foam rollers. I have, you know, lacrosse balls, massage guns, things like that. I want people to use them more and actually to use them more effectively. So many times, and you know, you see it with CrossFitters, they're like, yeah, I warm up, and they spend like 30 minutes with this like kind of half-ass
Instagram while they're on
foam rolling. It's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Scrolling through Instagram, and then they go fucking snatch. And I'm just like, do you truly feel like your body was prepared for that? So using the recovery tools effectively. So if you want to foam roll, be intentional about what you're foam rolling. Are you actually working it? And then do something dynamic and active with whatever you just foam roll. So things like that. Adding in massage guns. Are we using them for a recovery tool? So are we using them to be used after a workout? Or are we trying to like activate and kind of warm up certain areas before we get them going? So things like that. I've seen a lot more people do like the cold plunges too. A lot of cold plunge, a lot of cryotherapy, which I think is great. But when are you using that? Are you just doing it today because you're free? Or are you actually doing it on this Friday because you've been doing, you know, heavy ass sets for this past week?
Okay,
and
so
your body
let's
actually
help people out. Let's help people out.
When are you putting those in there?
What is the purpose of using the massage gun before training? Why would we want to use that?
So I typically tell patients to use that to honestly start to warm up some of their muscles, get more blood flow, more circulation to the areas that they want to work on. I feel like a lot of people are using it for knots, and I'm just like, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on what are you about to do? What are you about to do in your workout?
Yeah, let's
warm that area up.
Proactive with the massage guns, not just reactive, right? If you're using a massage gun in order to treat an injury, then that might not be the most effective tool for you. We need to dig a little deeper, right? Because we know knots come from not just, you know, waking up tight, right? Like knots comes because there's some instability. It is a warning sign. There's something else going on in the body. We need to treat it. So using the massage guns, using the foam rollers, we want to help that start priming the body for the task at hand. So it's not just, I got to the gym 10 minutes early, let me just roll around on the foam roller. It's being intentional with it and actually attacking something that we think we might lead to a problem down the road, or something that we know historically has been a problem, right? Or we are going to snatch. What do we need to actually get ready in order to make that snatch a little bit easier on our body right now, right? And then the cryotherapy. Why would we use cryotherapy at the end of the week? I mean, it's a great idea.
End of the week, it helps with, right. I tell people how to explain it is that I think when you're in there for like, 3 minutes at that certain degree, it's honestly to help with blood circulation and blood flow, which ultimately helps us with inflammation, which we just get built up over time, whether that's from working out, whether that's from our daily stressors, and it kind of helps us flush the system. So getting in there and kind of getting all our blood flow to our core and releasing it back out to our body is kind of resets the body.
And then ideally we are using these recovery tools at the jump, at starting to train hard, not because we have been training hard for 6-8 weeks and now we're falling apart, right? We want to do this proactively. We want to get ahead of this. I'm pretty sure everybody in your audience, everybody in my audience, we're not 15, 20, 25. We need a little bit more time. We need a little bit more TLC in order to do the things that we want to do. And that's what these things provide. They don't fix things, right? But they are a tool to put into your tool chest in order to get you to allow you to do the things that you want to do, right? All right. So the next thing that we want to talk about is individualized warm-ups and cool downs. I am such a fan of this.
Yes.
Of this.
Me.
So how do you do that?
I am too. Okay. Everyone needs their own thing. Like, I give my patients 3 to 5 minutes of stuff to do. I know you give rehab to your clients. Like, everyone needs their movements that work specifically for them. I am such a hammer for this. When I'm going to different gyms and taking different classes, I'm that weird one, like, I know we're about to do this warm up together, but I also know that I need to work on and warm up whatever body is my area that I need to. So it all comes honestly from an assessment. We talked about it a little bit, not going to dive into it too much, but laying that foundation and figuring out and assessing what you need for your body so that you have that routine.
And that's what I was going to say. It starts with an assessment. And if you can't get in to see an assessment, and I know you offer them, I know I offer them, I'm actually offering full movement screens throughout the end of the year, which is $150 value. You can get it for free. Just write me. Write me.
I need to take
advantage
of
so that you can start the new year on the right foot. But the assessment leads you to being able to figure out what you specifically need to work on. Now, if you can't get an assessment, or if you just don't want to, if you can't get an assessment, what do we do? Where have you historically had problems? Now, again, we're talking about getting ahead of things, right? We want to feel good in the gym, outside of the gym. We want to be able to do all the things that we want to do for as long as we want to do them. So instead of being reactive, let's approach the new year with intention. Come up with 3 to 5 of your most effective exercises, mobility drills, stretches, whatever really moves the needle forward for you, and do those not just every once in a while, but regularly. That is the difference, right? Like throwing them in just because you're like, oh man, my shoulder's bugging me, let me do this today. No, you have to do these exercises at least 3 to 5 times a week. And that's what I tell people. You have low back problem, hip problem, shoulder problems, wrist problems, whatever. It doesn't just get fixed by kind of working on it. You got to attack that shit, right? Like, you really have to attack it. And the best time to do it is when you're in the gym anyway. So you're doing.
Yes. I literally brought that up last week on the podcast about making sure that you're finding your own plan and making sure that you're doing your own thing that's best for you. I feel like so many times we're like, oh, Susie's over here doing this. I must be able to do this for my body. We got to, right? Now everyone's Susie to me ever since you like, everyone's Susie. But make sure your body's just ready for everything.
And for me, I'm like, if you have, most coaches, especially in CrossFit gyms and everything, it's just the whole sport has come such a long way. They understand. And so if you tell the coach, the boot camp leader, everything, just be like, look, I'm going to be over here for about 5 minutes. I got a few things that I need to work on. If they tell you you can't do that, find another gym. Okay? 100%, right? Because you should feel confident in being like, look, I need to do this. So don't be an asshole about it, right? Like, don't be like, oh, that warm-up's stupid, I'm going to go over here. No, but be intentional about what you need to do so that you can fully participate in those classes, right? Like, you don't have to do what everybody else is doing. I'm notorious for this. I'm like, okay, I will sit with the group and we'll do it all together, but I'm going to be doing my thing, right? Because I know what's going to make me feel best, right? So don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to put your own thing together. Don't be afraid. Make sure that you get there early enough. Make sure that you spend another 5 minutes after. We're not asking for 20, 30 minutes extra work. We're asking for 5. 5 minutes is not asking too much so that you can do everything that you want to do. All right, let's get off that soapbox for a little bit.
Right.
Okay, breath work. Doc, take it away. Breath work. What is the importance of this?
Yes. Multiple things, honestly, but the biggest thing is getting our nervous system to calm down at that time. So using some breath work to really get our body to calm down, get our mind in a good place, which we can use before we go into a workout. Maybe we can use it after our workout. We can even use it between the day. So adding in some slow diaphragmatic breaths can help calm our nervous system. But on the other end of breathing, that's preparing your breath for whatever you want to do that day. So are you lifting heavy? That's a different way to breathe and brace. Are we going through slower movements? That's a different way to breathe and brace. So making sure that you're preparing your breath for whatever you're doing.
Ramping up and cooling down, right? I've had so many people right now, because it's freaking freezing, they're getting into the gym and they're like, dude, I'm just not ready. I'm like, well, then let's take a little bit longer. And some of that might include, like, I'm not a huge fan of just going for an 800-meter run and then starting to work out. But if your body's not ready and you haven't raised your temperature or you haven't raised that heart rate yet, maybe you do need to do a couple 800-meter runs. Maybe you do need to ride the bike for a little bit. Maybe you do need to work on that, right? Like, so bringing the breath up, and then absolutely during making sure that you're paying attention to your breath. How are you responding to those bouts of fitness? Is it taking you a little bit longer to recover so that you can go heavy enough for your next set? Take that extra time. Pay attention to your breath for sure. Are you huffing and puffing and being super loud in your breathing during your, 8-minute AMRAPs? As CrossFitters love that. Maybe you're going too hard, right? That could potentially lead to injury, right? If your heart rate and your breathing is way up here, are you bracing? Not likely, right? So if you're dealing with back pain, maybe pay attention to your breath a little bit more. And I love the idea of down regulating your central nervous system. It is so important. So many people just get done with their workout and they just hop right back in there, right back into life, right? And life is still go, go, go. Taking that 3 minutes, lay down on your back, allow yourself to calm down, breathe. And then throughout the day, 110%, right? Like, are you stressed out? Are you dealing with some aches and pains? Are you feeling yourself getting irritable, getting pissed off at your kids? The breath is just everything, right? So huge fan. Glad we threw that in. All right. Next, sleep hygiene. Now, I was really wanted to talk about this because we want to talk about not just things that you can do in the gym, but things that you can do outside the gym to fully support you and the training that you want to do. So sleep hygiene. Let me have it.
I'm going to say a little bit because I know you have so much to say. Me personally, I know with my sleep hygiene, we talked about I remember listening to a podcast that talked about our goal is try to get as sleep as we can, right? Yes. But at the very least, getting the best quality sleep. So if it means that we're getting lower, can we get the best quality? I know for me, I've always fallen asleep with the TV on since I was younger. So now I'm trying to get in the habit of like, turn it off. Like, you just want some background noise in the background, like sit in silence, down regulate a little bit. So things like that, like making sure that we're kind of turning off like our TVs or our screen, or trying to use our screen as far away from bedtime as we can. It's something I've been personally working on to make sure I'm getting
100%. The better quality sleep that I can. If you can't get the quantity, you got a baby at home, right? If you can't get the quantity, then you need those smaller chunks to be quality. So now why do we need good sleep? What happens when we sleep? We heal.
We got to recover. It gives our body time to heal.
That's what I tell everybody. I'm like, you're sick, sleep. You're hurt, sleep. Right? You stressed out, sleep. Because that is when we heal. Like, that is 100% when our body regenerates. So if you want to wake up the next day and go hard as hell in the gym again, you need a good night's sleep, right? Like, you have to be able to approach it with a full battery again, right? So for me, the sleep hygiene is everything. And then yes, the TVs, the screens, I mean, we're so used to them, and it's not just the bedtime too. It's leading up to bedtime and how much we have had screen time, right? And how long it's going to take for us to get out of that heightened sense, because you think, oh, well, TV calms me down and it makes me sleepy, but it actually doesn't, right? Like, you're just fucking tired, right? So you can fall asleep without it. But for me, it's also falling asleep easily and then staying asleep. I have a lot of clients. This is one thing that we talk about. Do you pass out but then wake up throughout the night and then have a hard time falling asleep again? Because that's not good either. So what do you need to do in order to fall asleep easily and then stay asleep? And usually what I have people do is brain dumps. Get everything out of your brain that you think might stand in the way of you being able to get high quality sleep. Because I know all my moms out there and all my entrepreneurs and everything is just go, 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 go. And then there's constantly something that's in behind the scenes stressing them out, right? Or maybe there's an injury that's stressing them out. So maybe let's do some deep breathing exercises again. Let's do a light stretching routine. And then with a pen and paper, not on your phone, with a pen and paper, write down everything that you need to do the next day. Maybe you're traveling, get everything that you need to pack, whatever, get everything out of your brain, and then leave that pen and paper next to your bedside so that if you do wake up in the middle of the night, you can then dump it out again. Because I don't know about you, but there's plenty of times where I wake up and I'm like, ooh, that's a great idea. I need to remember that for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, shit, I'm going to forget. I need to write, you know, like, I'm like, you know, so then I'm up for another half hour thinking, okay, well, I don't want to forget this, but I don't want to put it in my phone. And, you know, just get that shit out of your brain.
Yeah. I need to do the pen and paper because I type it in my phone. I'm like, well, there's the slide again. I need to type this. Well, that Instagram is right there. So let me click on that.
It's terrible. So yes, pen and paper is everything, but the brain dump. And I have had such success with this with clients. They're just like, I had no idea. And it ends up being a little journaling experience. And so however woo-woo you might think that journaling is, that shit works. So get it out of your brain, whatever you need to do so that you can get higher quality sleep and just sleep longer and better, right? That's where we heal. All right, nutrition, another thing that you can do outside of the gym in order to aid your recovery. What should we do with nutrition? Like, what's one of the biggest things that we can do in order to aid our gym life with nutrition?
Yes. So I feel like, honestly, switching our mindset when it comes to food, which is something I've been doing too, more like using it as fuel and making sure that we're getting our body ready for whatever. Like, I feel like sometimes people are skipping meals, or I'm not a big fan of like the calorie counting and how much I hear so much like restrict. Prime example, I used to be a part of this years ago, this CrossFit gym back in Atlanta, where we joined like this like 6-week, 12-week challenge, right? So it was crazy workouts intense, and it was a nutrition plan, but it was all about restricting
more
calories.
exercise.
You have
and
to
less
measure
food.
this. You have to weigh it. Exactly. And you're wondering why are you feeling crampy?
Yes.
Why are you like, damn, I'm exhausted? Why are things spasming up? It's because you're not providing the right fuel for your workout. So we got to make sure that we're adding veggies in there, protein, all kinds of things to make sure that we're just getting and preparing our body for that as well.
Rush, and with everybody thinking, oh, well, I just came off of a high calorie month of December, everybody's going to cut out, and you can't take away the gas from your car and then drive cross country. You know, like you have to fuel in order to perform, right? And so you might need to eat more over the next 6 to 8 weeks so that you're not burning the candle at both ends, and you're not straining your body to come up with a fuel source in order to do this exercise. It'll push through. Your body will do what you ask of it. But at a certain point, it's going to be like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
I'm
done. That's what leads to the injury, and that's what leads to you having to come see Doc and I, right? So nutrition, hugely important. Eat to support your training, but also eat to support healthy joints. And I see this all the time. I have so many people that complain of just systemic aches and pains. My shoulder hurts, my elbow, my knees, my back. And I'm like, what are you eating, dude? Like, are you drinking alcohol? Yeah, lots of sugar. Absolutely. Are you drinking alcohol? Are you eating things out of the pantry? Are you not paying attention to how much you're eating? Are you drinking enough water? All of these things flush your system, create a system that is primed and ready to do exercise. And if you're not paying attention to that, it could be a significant cause of your pain. So very, very important to look at nutrition, not just as what can I cut out so that I can lose weight, but what can I add in, or what can I swap so that my body is best ready to perform and best ready to do those exercises, right? If you don't address nutrition along with your rehab, you're missing a huge component. All right, last but not least, allowing for life, right? So making sure that the busyness of your life also allows for an uptick in training. And so why is this important? Especially in the new year.
Honestly, to stay with consistency, you know, and make sure it fits into your plan. I know me personally, being a new mom, like I don't have as much time to work out as much anymore. So I'm like, how much can I get in between this 20 and 30 minutes? Because I know that where I am in life right now in this season, that's what works best for my schedule, which will change along the time. So making sure that you're planning it, and you're making sure like, hey, can I potentially fit in that hour class that I want to take, that hour a day challenge that I want to be a part of, but I have to drive here to do this and then drive. Like, is this something that's going to stress you out more? Because then that's not what we need to do. Like, So make sure it just fits into
That's
your
what I
plan,
was
into
going to
your
say,
life
is that
at
we
this time.
can't, again, burn the candle at both ends. So if it doesn't realistically fit in, and now your exercise plan is an additional stressor because you're like, I don't know how I'm going to fit all this in, or I'm dropping the ball here and I can't do this, I can't be in two places at once, then maybe you need to reevaluate just how much you're going to commit to your training, to your exercise, right? Or you reevaluate the things that are going on outside of your training so that you can make time for that, right? But that requires a little introspection, a little you sitting down and actually creating a plan. Don't just say, I'm going to do it all, without creating a plan for, well, if I'm going to now add this in, I have a blue nail for my kids. If I'm going to now add in this, what do I need to what do I need to take away here? Or what do I need to put on the back burner so that I can make this more of a priority, right? Like, we want to be able to hit the new year hard. We want to be able to start training more so than we were at the end of the year. That means something else needs to move out of the way, right? We can't let it lead to burnout, because again, in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, you just can't keep all those balls up in the air and feel good, right? So it leads to injury, it leads to stress, it leads to strain. Let's not do that, right? All right. What else do we have for the people, for these good people, Doc? What do you have coming up in the new year?
What do I have coming up? So be on the lookout. I have a 12 days of movement coming up I'm going to do in the new year, just to add some rehab, some type of things people can add into their movement routine, because I know everybody and their mama, new year, new me, are hopping into something. And I love that. I love that they want to be, more prioritizing their body. So just giving them some moves they can do to help rehab their body. So
plug those into your individualized warm-ups and cool downs. All right, pay attention to the ones that might affect you most. Okay, and then I have, again, I'm offering those free movement screens. What you do is you do the movement screen, record your videos, send them to me, and I will give you detailed video feedback of what I see. I also want you to tell me what's bothering you so that I can kind of pay attention to the movement screen and check off any red flags that I might see that might affect why you're in pain, or what could lead to pain if you just go too hard in the gym, right? And then in the new year, I'm opening up Tuesday, Thursday spots at Evo at 12 o'clock noon. I have 3 more spots left in there.
Nice.
And then I have 1 more spot left for my one-on-one intensive, which is a completely remote option for one-on-one training, all individualized, guaranteed to make you feel better, look better, feel better, be better, just make you an all-around badass, right? So look out for that. Again, if you have any questions or if you need a resource, we are here to help, but you have to reach out, you have to ask. Okay, if you found this useful, please share, tag, do all the things. It helps us out as small business owners. All right, thank you very much for paying attention, and Doc, I'll see you soon. Bye.